Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Olivia. While I was at school, I got a text message. I received some terrible news. Can you please come home now? My dad wrote. When I arrived home, I was out of breath. My dad was lying in his bed. He looked exhausted. Are you okay, Dad? I asked. He cracked his eyes open. Unfortunately, I'm not. I've had this intense back pain for a while. They did a bunch of tests at the hospital and the doctor broke the bad news to me. He was tearing up. What did he say, Dad? Please tell me already, I said. He seemed to be having trouble speaking. Those aches were caused by cancer, honey. I got diagnosed with bone cancer and tears started coming out of my eyes. And what, Dad? Please tell me everything, I said. And it's stage 4. I will receive chemotherapy, but the doctor said I had 6 months to live. Tops. I hugged my dad. Oh, God, I can't believe it. What am I going to do without you? I don't want to lose you, please. Don't leave me, Daddy. I cried desperately. My dad was my everything. I'd be all alone if I were to lose him. My mom died when I was 3 years old. I only know her from her photos. This is very difficult for me to share, but I know that she died in a fire I caused. The terrible event took place on my 3rd birthday. My parents were planning to throw a big birthday party for me. My dad went shopping to get the party supplies. My mom baked a small cake that morning to surprise me. As I sat in my high chair, she put the cake in front of me and said, "Happy birthday, Olivia." There was a lit candle on the cake. According to my dad, I had asked for a Barbie cake for my birthday. So I thought this small cake was my real birthday cake and smashed it, screaming, "Where's Barbie?" The candle on the cake flew off, fell to the ground, and set the curtain on fire. Suddenly, everything around us was ablaze. My mom wanted to leave the house with me, but she couldn't even make it to the door because of the intensity of the fire. Not knowing what to do, she covered me with her body. She protected me from the flames until the firefighters arrived. I was rescued, but unfortunately, we lost my mom to that fire. As if losing my mom in this way wasn't enough, now I had found out that my dad only had 6 months to live. My dad had to go to the hospital 3 times a week for his chemo treatment. He's a cop. He quit his job saying, "I can't serve my country in this state." It made me so sad to hear his decision because he was a successful cop with a great reputation. He would often tell me things that happened at work. One day, he was chasing a group of burglars. The men grabbed 5 kids who were playing basketball on the street and held them hostage. My dad single-handedly saved those kids from the burglars. They gave him 5 medals of valor for his extraordinary service. 1 medal for each kid. He gifted the medals to those kids. When I asked him why, he humbly replied, "Those kids were so brave that day that I thought they deserved it more than I ever did." My dad's disease was progressing. I felt terrible for him. I stopped going to school so that we could spend his final days together. Every morning, I'd wake up early to make him his breakfast. Some days he would go to the hospital for treatment, and some days he would meet up with his old cop friends. Time was flying by. 2 months was all I had with my dad now. He, too, was trying to accept the inevitable end. My dad was so important to me, and I knew he was just as important to other people, too. His birthday was coming up. I decided to throw a surprise party in his honor where all of his loved ones would be present. I'd never met my dad's friends before. I just knew they were cops. I didn't have a clue how to reach them either. One day my dad said, "I'm going to my old police station today. I heard that my friends over there are having some issues they need help with," and left home. This was the perfect opportunity for me. I could secretly follow my dad and find out where he used to work. Then I could go there and invite his friends to a surprise party. I left home immediately. I walked behind my dad, trying to keep distance between us. After walking for a while, he stopped in front of a restaurant, but he didn't go in. He turned the corner to the side of the building and went through a door that said, "Staff only." This didn't look like a police station. Was my dad part of the secret police? Was that why he never introduced me to any of his work friends? I watched it all from across the street. Then a truck arrived. The truck driver knocked on the door. 2 guys dressed like cooks came out, and one of them was my dad. It looked like the truck had brought meat for the restaurant because my dad and the guy next to him picked up huge chunks of meat and carried them inside. I didn't get it. What was my dad doing here? Why was he dressed like a cook? He looked like he was working here, but that was impossible. My dad was a cop, and he left because he was sick. I went back home shocked. My dad was hiding something from me, but there must be a reason for it. I was sure he was going to tell me all about it when the time came. That's why I decided to wait. The next day, my dad said, "Honey, my chemo treatment is today, then I'll be resting at the hospital for a while. I might run a little late tonight," before he gave me a kiss and left home for the day. My dad was going to the hospital 3 days a week for his treatment, but after what I'd seen the day before, I was suspicious. I decided to follow him again. He followed the same route, went to the same restaurant, and walked through the door that said staff only. I was in tears on my way back home. I was having trouble understanding what was happening. Why was my dad lying to me? My mind was full of questions. Suddenly, I had an idea. I went to Google. The story about my dad saving those 5 kids must have been in the news, so I could find out which station he used to work at and go talk to his friends. Google listed many news stories on the incident my dad had told me about. I clicked on the first one. It had happened exactly like my dad described, but the name of the cop who rescued the kids was different. So it wasn't my dad who saved them. My heart started pounding. Did my dad lie to me about that too? Why? Only he could answer that question. I darted out of the house and went straight back to that restaurant. I knocked on the staff door. A guy opened it. I gave him my dad's name and told him I had to see him immediately. A few minutes later, my dad arrived, shocked. "Olivia, honey, what are you doing here? How did you find me?" he asked. "Dad, do you work here? Are you a cook?" I asked. My dad forced a smile. "Of course not. This restaurant belongs to a friend of mine. Sometimes I come here to help out," he replied. "Dad, this doesn't sound convincing at all. What's going on? I followed you. You came here instead of going to the hospital. Did you quit your chemotherapy treatment?" He stuttered while trying to answer my question. My disease, it's progressing. The doctor said it's okay if you want to stop treatment." It wasn't hard to tell he was lying. He had panicked. There were drops of sweat on his forehead. "Dad, are you a cop or not? I Googled the incident about you saving those 5 kids. It was someone else who rescued them. All I need is to hear the truth right now. Please explain this to me," I begged him. "Olivia, I'm not a cop. I'm a cook. There's something I've been keeping from you. I have a mental illness. Olivia, I am a pathological liar. It's a horrible disease. I lie involuntarily all the time," he said. That day, I learned what being a pathological liar meant. This was a mental illness. Mythomania was the medical term for it. People with this illness feel compelled to lie all the time. And just like my dad, they liked telling elaborate stories. My dad was diagnosed as a pathological liar when he was 15 years old. He got treatment from time to time, but there is no real cure for this illness. After telling me all this, he began to confess his lies. "I read about the cop that saved 5 children's lives in the paper. When you were little, you asked me what I did for a living. I told you I was a cop and gave you that story as if I was the one who rescued those kids. You loved it, so I kept adding in new details every time I told it." I gulped back my tears and asked, "Dad, is it true that you have cancer?" "I don't have cancer, honey. That too was a lie. Please forgive me. I couldn't tell you it was a lie, so I had to keep going with it," he said. When I heard that, I hugged him. I was on a roller coaster of emotions. I'd been so sad for months because of my dad's lie. I had even left school because of it, but I was still happy to find out that he didn't have cancer. "So, did you also lie to me about my mom? Is she really dead?" I asked. "Yes, she is gone, honey. But I did lie to you about that as well. You weren't there when she passed. She died in a car accident." "Dad, how could you do this to me? I've been blaming myself for causing my mom's death. I see that story in my dream every night. The one you made up," I yelled. "Honey, please forgive me. I'll get treatment. I'm never going to lie to you again. I beg you, please, forgive me," he said. What I heard really upset me. but I'm sure this was only a small part of his lies. I wonder what other stories he made up for me. I live in a children's home now. My dad came to visit me last week. He kept telling me he loved me. He wanted me to come back home. I'm really confused. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Do you think I should go back home? Please write in the comments.